Hello, welcome to the Power BI session. I'm Magdalena Glińska, and together with my colleagues Magdalena Spechała and Anna Kosińska, we'll introduce you to the Power BI solution and the benefits that you and your organization can gain using the solution. Nowadays, the good quality data are crucial in terms of decision-making process. Power BI can collect data from many sources like Excel or Business Central and visualize them in a user-friendly way to help you control your business better. The huge added value to the application and service itself is the entire ecosystem in which Power BI operates. The Microsoft strategy called One Microsoft is built on the basis of interconnected apps and services. Each of these generates data, and thanks to the special connectors that Microsoft provides, we can easily access this data, visualize them, and analyze. Let's move to the agenda. Firstly, we will summarize what Power BI is. Then we will discuss the most popular license types to help you identify the right license for your needs. Then we'll mention some security issues as well, some data sources also. The core of this webinar would be obviously a demo, when you will see how to incorporate BI dashboards into the Business Central user interface. And then we'll present some sample reports built on the basis of data collected from Business Central system. Then we'll move to topic of collaboration, and we'll discuss implementation of the solution. Then we'll move to the price list, and we'll end with the Q&A session. So please leave the questions on the chat, and we'll answer them after the session. Now I pass the voice to my colleague.
As Power BI is the main topic of today's session, let's start with a short information about what Power BI is. And it's a tool used for advanced business analysis. It allows you to gather, model, and especially visualize data in a very interactive way. When talking about Power BI, it's crucial to emphasize the difference between applications where you create your dashboards and reports, and also Power BI service where you use your ready and published reports. As you can see, there are two different applications in which you can create your reports. It's Power BI Desktop and Power BI Report Builder. Power BI Desktop is the most known application where you create those interactive reports, and Power BI Report Builder is the second application where you create more static reports dedicated for printing and exporting for further analysis. When it comes to main advantages of Power BI, we have to focus first of all on connecting with many data sources, by which I mean a few data warehouses and, for example, an Excel file in just one report. Thanks to that, we don't have to merge our data at any step before our Power BI report. The second advantage, data visualization, by which we mean, of course, the huge interactivity of our reports. Thanks to that, even from simple reports, we can draw very detailed conclusions. Third advantage, sharing reports prepared by users. Thanks to that, we can have a dedicated group of developers who prepare reports for the whole company, and all of the users from our company can use the reports. And the last but absolutely not least, exporting reports for further analysis or printing. As I have already mentioned, here we talk about these paginated reports created in Power BI Report Builder. Thanks to this possibility, we can export data for further analysis or print our reports. It's also very important to mention licensing of Power BI. In Power BI, we have three license types and also possibility to extend our possibilities by buying a paid subscription. But let's focus first of all on only having this one of three licenses without a paid workspace in premium version. When we have a free service license, then we can publish and also view only reports created by ourselves. When we have a Power BI Pro license, we can publish and view published reports shared by other users with Pro license. And when we have Power BI Premium per user license, we can both act as a Power BI Pro user and Power BI Premium user and share reports once with Power BI Pro users or just with Power BI Premium users. When we have Power BI Premium per user license, we have a few more extended possibilities like refreshing our data sets more often. It's 48 times per day, not 8, like when we talk about Power BI Pro license. Or, for example, create bigger reports with a higher amount of data. Our possibilities change when we have a premium subscription. If we have this subscription, all of our free users can view reports shared by others, and Power BI Pro and Power BI Premium per user users can both view and share reports with others.
As Anya mentioned before, Power BI can connect with many sources, many types of sources, but we focus now on the types of connecting with Business Central database. And here we distinguish three types of data sources. First is web services. It's suggested to the small volume of data because it's based on BC database, and when we generate the report, we can slower the database in the meantime when users can use the Business Central. So when client have more data in Business Central, we suggest using reporting database. And it depends on client resources and needs. We distinguish two types, so cloud-based database and classic local database on SQL Server. And then we copy data from Business Central database during the night to this reporting database, not cause slower performance of the database in Business Central. When it comes to a cloud-based database, we suggest using Azure Synapse Analytics, and we use it with Azure Data Factory. Or when you want to use your SQL Server, of course, we can use local database, and it is managed and stored locally.
As Magdalena has just mentioned, you can use both cloud and local data sources, not only when it comes to BC data source, but also other data sources like your own, for example, Excel files. It is crucial to focus on the need of configuring Power BI Gateway during implementation if we want to use our local data. It's one of data security features provided by Power BI. Of course, there are many other data security features provided by Microsoft, and one more interesting one is RLS. called row level security is the possibility of viewing different data when different users open the same report. Thanks to that, for example, head of the whole company sees data for all departments when he or she views the report. But heads of each of departments see only data for department which they are head of. Now we will move to sample reports. We will show you two classic reports, one paginated report and possibility of embedding Power BI reports in BC.
Okay, so here you see the first of the classic report. It's overview sales report. As you can see here, is at the top is the title of the report, and at the right side you can see two flags. It means that you can easily switch the language of this report by only clicking on it. And here we have Polish language, and of course we can move to the English version. On the left side here you have buttons with filters, and I will talk about it later. And here is also two sections with KPIs, so aggregated data, and the second section with visualization. And when we click on the filters button, it expands with the filters you can apply. So you can choose company, date, country, or salesperson, and we select one company now. And to go back to the report, you can click on the arrow, and now you can see that report is filtered with this selected value. And here we have filters that are blue, that you know that some filters are applied. When you don't want to have filters anymore, you can easily clear filters with one button on and click every filter this way. But when you select more than one filter, it suggested to use one button here. And of course, we go back to the main report. As I said before, here are the KPI section. Some of these KPIs are static, but some of interactive. As you can see, when we move over of sales amount, you can see that line chart appears with sales amount and forecast. But when you want to analyze it in bigger size, you can click on this I button. And now you can see that new page in the report open. And this is the same chart as before, but in the bigger size. Here is the slider that you can move, and now you can see that some of chart is changing. It is sales amount change in percent, so when we change it, the chart also changes. We can go back to the main report by clicking on the arrow. Here we have also profit amount. This is green, so it's suggested as that we have profit. When it could be in red, we know that something is not good in our company. And here we have also a speedometer chart. It shows margin in percent. Here we have target, and it's also green, so we know that our performance here is bigger, so we achieve our target. And in the second section, we have three visualizations. First is sales amount by location. It shows us a map, and of course you can zoom in and zoom out with scroll on the mouse. But also you can click on the bubble. Of course, the bigger bubble is the bigger amount of sales. And by clicking on one bubble, you select one city, and you know what city you selected by the name of the bottom of this visual. And of course, you can click, and as you can see, all of the report is filtered by the city you selected, and of course, the filters are selected that some is applied. Of course, you can click on the more than one city. So when you're pressing Control, you have to click on the other bubble, and now you selected more than one city, and report shows values for this selected two cities. And when you want to go back, you have to click on the empty space on the map, and we have now the main view of the report. Second visual is the top 5 customers by sales amount, and here is the bar chart, and you can easily switch to the 5 bottom customers by clicking on the button beneath the chart. And when you want to show more details about this customer, you have to move over of the bar chart, and it shows customers details. When you want to know some more details about this customer, you have to click right button of the mouse, and here we go to the drill through and open customer details. And here is the next page of the report with table connected to this one client you chose before. And of course, you can go back to the report by clicking on the arrow. And about this feature, Anya will tell more about it in the second report. And the last one is the sales amount by types of customers, is pie chart, and it's also interactive. When we click on the one of the selected value, all of the report is filtered by that. Of course, we can disable it, but we decided to turn it on. Okay, so we can now move to the second report.
The second report is aging report. And of course, the aging report is created in 2 versions, once for vendors and also for customers on the second page. But during today's session, we will focus on page with vendors. And this report is also divided in 3 main sections. The first one, the navigation panel at the very top of our report, then a KPI section, but more static one, and then the third one with most detailed visualizations. First of all, at the very top, we have a title of our report, possibility to open filter panel, and by clicking on this filter button, we move to our filter panel. And if we want to search for our vendor name and filter our vendors, it is possible to search for some of them by just typing letters that are contained in the name. It allows us to move more quickly through those filters and apply filters more quickly. When it comes to date filter, we also applied one feature that makes applying filter quicker, and it's hierarchy, thanks to which we can move easily between years, quarters, months, and each day. Let's go back to the first view of our report. And on the navigation panel, we also have 2 flags that allow us to switch between 2 languages. It's Polish and English, but during today's session, we will stay in this English version. As I have already mentioned that, our second section with KPIs is more static, so we can already move to the third section. And the report at the very bottom of our report is actually the a more static one, it allows us only to filter data by clicking on each bar. But when it comes to the visual in the middle, it allows us to create detailed analysis, thanks to possibility of not only drilling through to details, but also drilling down here to each vendor in each category presented. We can do that by clicking on arrow dedicated for drilling down. And if we want to see all of the vendors in the bucket of 1 to 30 days, we just need to click on the bar. As you can see, now we can see value of documents in each category, but it's not sorted and it's not too big. To change that, we can click on these three dots in the right corner and sort axis based on amount. If we decide that this visual is still too small to analyze that, we can move to focus mode and analyze that in a way bigger version. And when we finish our analysis, we can go back to the report by clicking on the button in left top corner. We can, of course, move back by clicking on this drill up button and change sorting of our axis. But we can also get to the first look of our report by clicking on this reset filters button. I've just shown you the value of documents in each category, but we can also easily switch to number of documents in each category by clicking on this number button in the left top corner of the visual. I have already mentioned that we can both drill down and drill through using this visual. And we assume that drilling through details might be quite hard for new users. Because of that, we added a short video on how to do that. And when you hover over the question mark button, you can see a short video with instruction of using a drill through. And we will do that now. I right-click on selected by myself bar. I go to drill through and next to details for vendors. As you can see now, we move to a table with details where we can see vendor name, document number, due date, aging bucket, amount, and document type for each of the documents in a selected bucket. It's a perfect solution when you want to move to details, but you don't have that much data. If you have way more data than we do here, or you want to print or export your report for further analysis, we suggest using paginated reports. And I will show exactly the same solution, exactly the same table, but in the form of paginated report. To do that, we have to move to a previous view of the report by clicking on this arrow. And we have to go to details by clicking on details button. Now our paginated report is being opened. It has to load all of the rows contained here. And after loading, we can see exactly the same view of report as we just saw that in drill through. We can see vendor, document number, due date, category, amount, and document type. And we can see that all of the parameters are applied since we didn't add any filters in the previous report. We can, of course, filter the buckets and choose only this 1 to 30 days and then go to details. And now you will see that our report paginated report is also filtered only to the category 1 to 30 days. But let's now stay in the report that is not filtered. And from this view, you can, of course, export your data in one of possible formats. We will today focus on Microsoft Excel and PDF. And let's start with PDF file. As you can see, now the report is ready for printing. The view of the report is exactly the same as in Power BI service, where we view it. And we can print it this way. Of course, it's a static form of our report. And now I will show you the more less static form of our report, which we can analyze in Excel file. And now I will do exactly the same export, but using Microsoft Excel. When we turn on editing of the document, you can see that we can analyze our report. However, the form of report is exactly the same as in Power BI service, so we don't lose any detail of the form from Power BI service. I have just shown you the possibility to export your data, export your report manually, but of course you can do that in a very automatic way by creating subscription. And we have already prepared a subscription to the report. And as you can see, there are a few details that you can provide here in the subscription panel. Of course, you can choose the name of the subscription, define format of your report that will be sent by email. Of course, choose parameters that will be applied. We chose all possible parameters here. Below that, you can see users that will get the subscription. And you can, of course, choose also frequency of sending such subscription. You can choose hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly frequency and define specific days to send the subscription. And choose, of course, time and a quarter of sending the subscription. When we open this More Options panel, you can see also the possibility of defining your subject of the email and a short information inside of the email, and also start date and date of sending the subscription. And now I will show you the subscription that I have already received. As you can see, we got the email with defined by us name. Here the name is typed again, and we can see here the short information, the short message we wanted to add. When we open our PDF file that's attached, you can see that and the look of the PDF file is exactly the same as the look of the report exported manually. Now we can move to the embedded report in BC.
Okay, so let's move to the main page, so central role in Business Central. And when we scroll down to the bottom of this page, we have here a section with Power BI report. And as you can see here, we can have a classic report based on Power BI report. And it's also interactive when we click on one selected value, the rest is filtered. And here we have three visualization, one with map, one pie chart, and one bar chart. Of course, we can analyze it in a bigger way when we expand report. And of course, when we know that this report is going to be embedded in BC, we analyze it and make it more clear. That's why here are only 3 visualizations, as you can see. And of course, you can embed Power BI report not only on the central row, but also on the page tab list. So let's move to the customers page. And here we are, our customer list. And in the fact box on the right side, you can see also the Power BI report. And when we switch the client, by clicking on it, you can see that report is changing. You can know that the report is filtered by only this client. And it's possible to have more than one report here. When we open the Power BI report and click to the next report, you can see that here is the second one. It's bar chart and also is filtered by the customers. Of course, it's possible to create such reports on the other page list, but we chose customers here. And now we can move on to the presentations again. And we want to say a few words about collaboration. And at the beginning, it's very important that we would like to have be part of the project at the very beginning. So from the initial stages of the projects, from the analysis, because we would like to add something from us, and when we analyze the reports, we can add something and that consultants don't know at this stage, and it's prevent us from the double work. The next important thing is that we advise to select a suitable reporting tool for you. So as you can see, there are 2 types of Power BI reports, so classic and paginated report. And also, as you may know, that in BC also you can create reports. So we decided from these 3 types which is the best for each report you would like to receive. Next, we define the data source architecture. So as I mentioned before, there are 3 types of data types connected to BC. So web services or reporting database, and we suggest the best option for you. And of course, we completing implementation process with you. And after this implementation process, we support you on every stage of your project. And we also conduct training to the users of the report. As you can see, there are lots of features in the report that you don't know about existing, and it's at first sight it's not very easy, and so we would like to help you with it. Of course, when you have some historical data or other sources like Excel files, we would like to migrate it for you and be able to report from these sources also. And the last but not least, the possibility to embed Power Reports in Business Central. As you can see, it's also possible. And here we have some stages of implementation process. So as I said before, first is collecting and analyzing requirements. And the next is choosing the data source. Next, we help you to choose appropriate subscription and license for Power BI. and choosing appropriate report types, so Power BI or Business Central. The next step is preparing data sources and also creating reports. The last step is to verify requirements if the report is fulfilled. And of course, in the meantime, we can conduct a training, as I said before. And let's move on to the pricing.
Thank you. We are quite often asked by our customers if they need the commercial license at all, since the free license allows them to create a report in Power BI. The thing is, the Power BI free license is useful, of course, to get familiar with the solution. Also, you can create reports, as I mentioned. However, these reports are only for your own purposes. You can't share these reports across organization. Moreover, you can't, using the free license, you can't collaborate on reports with your coworkers. That's why we recommend the commercial license. Only this license allows to control permissions and access to the reports in a managed way. Moreover, if you want to see the reports from the Business Central level, like it's been shown, only commercial license allows that. To sum up, both if you are designer or the receiver of report, you will need the commercial license. The possibility to share the report across organization is crucial for our customers when choosing a license. That's why Power BI Pro is most common chosen one. The cost is visible on the screen. It's €9.40 per user per month. If you're a bigger customer, you have bigger requirements. For example, you need bigger data storage, more frequent data refresh, some AI services, and other special requirements. Power BI Premium license can also be considered per user or per capacity. However, the cost is significantly higher. Then you need to assess which license is suitable for your needs. But as Magdalena mentioned, we'll help you with the right license choice specifically for the project. That's all from the licensing part. Let's move to the Q&A session. So we'll read your questions.
Okay, I can see that there are a few questions already. The first one is, in what way did you add your additional slicer in focus mode? The slicer was invisible on main layout. It's the kind of filter that is added in Power BI desktop view on the level of application, and we can make it invisible or visible for our users. The second question is to explain the different options to connect Power BI with Business Central data. And as we have already mentioned, I don't know if the question was before our explanation or after, but you can connect using web services directly to Business Central or using data warehouse, local one or cloud one.
And when we use a local database, we should configure the Power BI gateway, of course, but it's possible.
Yes. What type of license you need to subscribe the report? How many licenses are needed to do this for receiver and sender, or only sender needed? In this situation, both receiver and sender need Power BI paid license, not the free account. Is it possible to add a subscription with parameters, for example, send different data related to their customers to each preseller? Of course, you can create many subscription based on just one report. As you could probably see, we had two subscriptions created for just one report, and you can define parameters chosen for each subscription separately. For now, these are all of the questions that we can see, but if you have any other questions, please ask them.
Or you can also contact us after the webinar when you come up with some additional questions, so feel free to write an email. Thank you very much for attending the webinar.
There is no further questions. So
Yes. Have a nice day.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.